Hello everyone, this is Samurek on the Leona mech, and I'm going to go ahead and just create a really basic how to get started playing Leona video. I saw some people asking for tips and just how to get started on the Reddit, and, well, subreddit rather, and I'll show you just what I can play. So for runes, I'm running Aftershock because that's awesome. Font of Life, it does help heal your good people. Bone Plating helps you not take quite as much poke. Overheal, I mean, it's the best of the lot. Presence of Mind helps really restore some mana. Tenacity helps keep you nice and unCC'd. So, let's talk a little bit about the lane that we're going to be going up against, if this client ever loads. So we've got Ashe and Brand, which was kind of what I was expecting, and the key thing here is to... Why does Ashe have Smite? Normal games are weird, man. But the key thing to know here is that both of these champions are very immobile. Brand is going to be really, really annoying with his poke. But Leona really does a truly terrific job of just bursting down. As does Lucian as a matter of fact. So if I can hop on either of these people, they should pretty much win.
Adapt or perish.
Looks like we're not doing anything too shenanigans early. And what we're going to go do is we're going to sit in this dry brush here. And we are going to... We're just going to block for an engage. So, the very first thing that we're going to want to note in this game is that, interesting, is that we're rocking the Relic Shield here. Now, this is a really great item on Leona, as what we're going to do is we're going to try and execute the minions in such a way as to ensure that we're going to hit level 2 ahead of our opponents. And this level 2 difference is one of the things that a lot of people play Leona wrong with. Because if you're level 2 and they're level 1, you get an incredible amount of damage over them. Why am I tanking So one of the things, a lot of people start bot, but that's okay. You obviously are going to want to leash, help out your jungler. But the key here is to try and make sure that you don't take damage or burn mana, so that it's not like blatantly obvious, hey, we leashed our jungler. So the first half of this wave, there's not a whole lot you're going to be able to do. You're just going to have to put up and shut up. So this guy, as soon as he finishes the first wave, as soon as we kill all 3 of these melee minions, we're going to hit level 2. Just like that, we're going to go in on Brand, and he's going to take a lot of damage. Now we don't have to go in for a kill here, but if he sticks around, and it looks like he is, he's going to walk up like that, and just go in, kill him, and easy double kill.
They never get tired of dying.
The important thing to remember here is that you always want to throw out that positive reinforcement to your teammates with a thumbs up. So what we're going to do here is push the... push this way. So the reason that we want to push the wave into the tower like this is that this is going to make it a little harder for them to farm. And, quite frankly, we're going to get just a tiny bit of damage on the turret. Also, it means that they're not going to be able to move up into the lane to stop our reflex, so we can buy whatever we want without them stopping us. So I'm going to start off here with a cloth armor, and I'm going to be building immediately a glacial shroud into a Zeke's Convergence as a first item. This is a really wonderful thing because, as you can see here, Shroud gives me both armor, mana, and CDR, all of which are things that Leona really, really, really likes in the early game. So now that my ADC has a BF sword versus a refillable potion, we can pretty much just go. Now, this is not the best engage. I would not be recommending this to you if we were not ludicrously ahead. And that is because we are in the minion wave. And we're going to take a lot more damage from the minions than we are actually from an Ashe that doesn't have any actual damage.
Stand and fight.
Not sure why Moon was trying to get there. But, as you can see, Leona's a really big snowballer. And Lucian's really, really good, especially with Leona, in terms of just following up with a bunch of burst damage.
I will protect you.
Unfortunately, in the current meta, Lucian does fall off a little bit, which is kind of disappointing because it is nice to go with a Lucian. But, it is what it is. She's going to keep walking forward, staying out of the turret range. As you can see, we do quite a bit of damage there, in every trade. I'm going to pop this spot here just to heal on up. Our cooldowns are pretty much back up. My Ignite's up in about 10 seconds, and their jungler is in the bot side. So we want to play to that, make sure we're not going to get absolutely blasted by the game, because nobody likes that. And we notice Brand here is not in a happy spot. Snag again, and we head on out. Dragon's up, so we're good. That is one of the things you really do want to be playing to as a Leona. You want to be playing to dragon pressure. And actually, not just as a Leona. Whoa! I was not paying very attention there. Rest in peace. That wasn't quite what we were looking for, but it is what it is.
An enemy has been slain.
Another tip that I'd like to point out is that you want to be buying pink wards as often as you can. Well, as long as you're not replacing pink wards that you already have, because that is going to give you quite a lot of vision. And vision is a true must.
An ally has
So
been
looking at
slain.
this lane again, we can see that we are still dramatically ahead of the Ashe. She probably shouldn't have bought the refill and longsword, because Lucian now has a Warhammer. She would be getting pretty close to a BF otherwise. She's also completely out of mana, meaning that once again, this is a pretty free engage, but we're going to stack our Relic Shield here. Oh, excuse me. Because we like those stacks. This is one thing that a lot of people don't entirely realize,
Chosen of the sun.
but looking at this right here, you it doesn't actually tell, but you're going to gain a whole lot of extra stats when you complete the quest. So when you hit 500 and then 1,000 gold on the stacks, you are going to get quite a big amount of health. In this case, a little bit of AP, more health regen, all of which are just free stats because you're not actually having to pay for it. So the key thing here
An enemy
is
has
to try
been
and stack
slain.
this up just as much as possible. And Lucian's going pretty aggro. He should probably be letting me take. I'm very thankful that my W is as strong as it is there. And W is really incredible. You are
The
saving.
sun always
Let's
rises.
just get this guy. So, you're gaining quite a bit of armor and magic resist with your W up, and you're doing quite a bit of damage from the back end here. Still not entirely sure about Ashline, but she's finally at her beat up.
An enemy has been
With an
slain.
extra about 10 CS, so
I will
she's
protect
quite a
you.
bit behind. Meaning that once again we can just do one thing to note is that with this, with your ulti, if you're this far ahead and you're moving towards somebody, especially in the lower elos, they're going to start moving away from you. Well, maybe not so much in the lower elos, but most people don't want to just get stunned by Leona. So you move like that, and he dies. Because he walked right into my ult, because he's very, very afraid, as he should be, of how fed this bot is.
They'll have to remove.
Alright, so we've got the Ash arrow down, and what does that mean for us? That means that we can get the arc. I'm gonna walk into the bush, flash into this bush. I don't want to die. Now that's actually on me because I should have warded as a good supporter.
Stay at the vanguard. Shut down.
So unfortunately, Rise just got Ozera. Poor dude. But our top lane's losing pretty strong. That's unfortunate, but we can still beat up on this guy. Wow, that's not a lot of CS. Arcum's having a really bad time.
Ever vigilant.
So don't be afraid to roam, but because at this point, a 10-1 Lucian can pretty much do everything. But let's show off the active abilities here as soon as Jarvan gets So, what you can see around me right now, well, maybe not anymore, is a little blue circle. Every time I cast my ult, I'm going to get this little frost
Twilight
shield
fades.
around myself. Interesting. But it's supposed to, when it's not feeling janky, give a, this is a dive opportunity. This shit finishes what it's supposed to do is give me a swirling cloud that does a little bit of damage to them, and if my ADC autos them, it does more damage to the ADC. So what I'm going to want to do here is start off with the queen there because she's walking back towards the tower. The reason for that is that it's so much easier to engage with the queen if you just walk up to her. And then we follow up with my ult. Talking about paying attention. good bit of damage, especially at these early levels. So, next thing we're going to work towards is we're going to work towards and we are going to then build into a Knight's Vow. Our Legion is very fed, and Knight's Vow is going to help him a little bit healthier because he takes a little bit less damage when I'm around him, and I heal for based on the damage that he does. So it's going to keep me a little bit healthier as well. So this is a big win-win for us. So now that we've taken the bot lane tower, we're going to move up into mid. So we did see somebody over here. We need to do a little bit more warding. Ash just shot her hawk shot through here. And Rise looks like he's back. So since we still do have two people still trying to push the bot lane, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and back up our Lucian. Ash is still having an absolutely terrible time. So, let's talk a little bit more about the Targon's Buckle, which is the upgraded version of our weapon. So, if you remember, we were getting 30 health and 5 ability power off of the first version of that item. We're sitting on 110. So that's more than double on health and doubling the AP. So all of these, again, free stats, very good.
An enemy is dominating. Shut down.
We're going to want to throw a ward down here so we can see what's going on. We're going to snag Leona. Walk away to keep the grand bounce. And we're just going to keep riding. So in that fight, only a little bit, but they also died really fast because I'm pretty fed.
Chosen of the sun.
So we got a good solid extra 100 damage in there. And that's not a small deal, considering AHCs only have a 1200 HP to the So we've got Rise. I'm not really sure what he's trying to do here. Rise is looking really spicy. That was super something. But at this point in the game, we're going to want to try and just keep up with our motion. So what we've got here is 1 magic damage, 1 AD, 1 magic damage, 1 AD, and 1 magic damage. And we know that the Ash is really unfed, so that's how we're going to go with the Red System. The fact is that we're going to build our boots based off of what their composition is looking like. So, for example, if like their top laner was doing AD, we want to build the Ninja Tabby, because that's going to block 30% of auto attacks, as well as it's going to give you some good armor. And it looks like they're fighting mid. Our Camille's dead. That's okay. This is not optimal. We're just going to go continue to pick on the brain. Look at the damage that auto attack did there, or excuse me, my W did there, compared to her auto attack. My W did about a little over 100 damage, 200 damage. to the floor. Now, yes, some of that damage is going to be gotten rid of by the resistances that Ash has, but I have so many moves here. And Bran wants to feed us some more. I'm going to miss. That's unfortunate. Maybe he's gonna die to that. Nope, he's got heal. So, as you can see, I'm actually quite a bit behind on my stacks for my Targons. A lot of that is because we've been fighting constantly. I should be paying attention.
Trust me.
But a lot of why that is because we've been constantly fighting. And, I mean, that's okay, but you want to try and get your stacks finished. Stay, Lucian, I want the cannon. Right there, it's here. Or I just killed her. Oh, I missed the cannon. Rip. I don't even think I got much off on that. She just died so fast. Yeah, you know.
The sun always rises.
So Teemo's coming around behind here. And what we managed to do is we kept a little bit of distance between the Teemo and the Zerath and CC'd them up, just enough to keep them alive. Actually, we don't really need to back. We're going to keep getting our stacks. The cannon wave! This is a Rise ult. Really bold decision on the part of the Rise. But apparently it's successful. I should have ulted that. That is actually probably a good lesson to everybody who's starting off with a champion, is that it's okay to just pop the ulti on a single champion. Don't feel bad. It's only got a 55-second cooldown and it gets lower from there. So. Now, the reason that we're building Knight's Vow is because we really do like having literally every stat from here. It's giving us health, it's giving us armor, it's giving us cooldown reduction, it's giving us that healing, and it's also giving us, our partner here, extra move speed towards him. So if we're trying to peel enemies away from him in battle, we can do that a little bit more effectively by kiting that himself. So we've got a little bit of time before the dragon comes up, so we're going to prep it in that we're just going to throw some wards around in the general area, and apparently Lucian's going to back.
An enemy has been slain.
We really want our Lucian to show up here.
I must not fall.
Yeah, oh, guess not. Well, we'll take the Teemo as a consolation prize.
Feel the sun's damage. Shut down.
Pushing bot pretty hard. One of the things that I always like to do as a support is to put a pink board on any objectives that we're working on, because people, I should think it's so easy. So we're just going to zone the brand off. doesn't want to fight us. Because if he does, you're going to be died. The most critical thing to do is to make sure that the jungler doesn't get through, like he did. He had to pop flash, so that's alright. Don't go there because there's a mushroom.
Rally to me.
So we're going to wait out the blind here. So with Teemo, the thing to remember is that his blind will stop your powered Qs because they are technically just an empowered auto attack.
They will be sundered.
And there is a dragon. I died before the other came down.
Your team has destroyed.
The evolution is pretty disgusting. I'd like to point out that this is strictly pretty normal. I have not seen any of these before.
Double kill.
Well, there's nobody with Ash.
First blood of burden.
Her ulti is not by one. Yep. Not sure what she's thinking to accomplish there, but back off. Because the rest of them are coming up, and the rest of them do way more damage than Ash, especially their eyes. So we see Jarvan sneaking around up there. Yeah, she won that handily.
Godlike.
So, what's my next item? The next item is going to be the Gargoyle Stone.
Chosen of the sun.
This is an activatable item that does a lot of good. Now this is only in 90% of cases. The reason that we're going Gargoyle Stoneplate here is just because it's a generic ultra tank item that is good for all the stats that you're going to want. For example, if they've got like a Cho'Gath or something who's very fed and can execute you with his aura that does true damage, you're not going to want to go Gargoyle Stoneplate because he's not going to care. But against this particular team type, it's going to be a pretty nice.
An enemy has been slain.
And Lucian
An
just
ally
continues
has
to do
been
whatever. At this point, Lucian can pretty much go 1v1, maybe even 2v1 most people in the game. Except for this. We're going to continue to lock him down. Situations where it's a one-on-one and they're trying to just like kite back, especially if you're faster, you can boldly need to show yourself, Joe. Is that I need to make sure that nobody is jumping down Lucian's throat. So I'm going to need to stay in range of my Zeke's and of my Knight's Vow. These are the two ranges of that. So that's what our mid game is going to be looking at, and honestly our late game as well. We're also going to have to, at certain points in time, do out no orders. You can see Jarvan's grab here. But if we want to, we can just go take the Baron.